Hello everyone, my name is Donghyun Kim, Master and Ph.D. integrated course of Digital Biorobotics and Mechatronics Laboratory. I will give a presentation on Anthropomorphic robot hand using the principle of sweat and fingerprints of human hands. Commercialization of robot hand is taking place in various fields such as industrial robot, smart farm, service robot, or prosthetic hands. However, a robotic hand that can perform as many roles as a human hand has not been created. So far, we have to create and use a variety of robotic hands that can perform limited tasks. In this study, we try to conduct basic research on creating a robot hand that can perform more diverse roles by mimicking the characteristics of a human hand. We wanted to apply the phenomenon of increased friction when a person's hand is slightly sweaty or slightly wet to a robot hand. First of all, we thought about the principle of this phenomenon and thought that the fingerprint on the finger and the liquid could interact to increase friction. In addition, we know empirically that friction is reduced when the hand is wet with liquid. Depending on the amount of liquid, the tendency of friction change is different. A theoretical analysis was conducted on this friction increase system and friction decrease system. The phenomenon of friction increase system can be explained through the work of adhesion, a material constant we generally use to estimate the friction force between solid and solid. Work of adhesion is a quantification of the amount of energy required when two objects are separated and coincides with the sigma value when calculating surface tension. In this study, the additional friction force between two solids caused by a liquid was explained by grafting the work of adhesion to the principle of surface tension. The friction reduction phenomenon occurs because liquid permeates between two solids to form a film. In this case, friction cannot be explained by work of adhesion, and friction is determined by viscous force. This value is much smaller than the typical friction force. Thus, the presence of an excess of liquid results in a significant reduction in friction force. We try to apply this friction change principle to robot hand. The joints of the robot hand are composed of rolling contact joints, and there are a total of 4 fingers with 3 joints. It is possible to operate in both directions through wire and has an under-actuation structure with 1 actuator per finger. By using soft material, we developed a fingerprint structure that allows fluid to permeate into the fingerprint to make a friction change phenomenon, and attach it to the part where the robot hand can contact the object. A hose is attached to the soft material-based fingerprint so that the fluid can reach the fingerprint, and a micro syringe pump is used to spray the fluid to the fingerprint. In this study, we try to implement the following 2 systems in the robot hand. The first is a friction increase system that helps the robotic hand achieve stable grasping. This system allows us to grip heavier objects without increasing the grasping force, thus freeing us from the threat of breakage. The second is a friction decrease system that helps the placing of the robot hand. By reducing friction, it can help in placing gripped objects without finger control. Experimentation confirms that these systems are operational. The lower middle graph is the case where the friction increase system occurs. In this case, the gripping force is strong enough, so even if a lot of water is sprayed, the area where the water film is formed is limited, so it is impossible to observe the friction decrease system. The amount of water spray and the friction force increase proportionally until a critical point is reached, after which the friction force remains constant. The bottom right graph is a case where friction increase and friction decrease system occur simultaneously. If the grasping force is not strong enough and a lot of water is sprayed, a sufficient water film may be formed between the object and the robot hand, so both phenomena can be observed. To show this more actively, we conducted a gripping experiment on 2 cup-shaped objects. The amount of water that can create a friction increase system and a friction decrease system in the manufactured robot hand was confirmed in a previous experiment. Using this, it was confirmed that the 2 friction change systems were operating on the 2 objects. For heavy beakers requiring high gripping force, only the friction increasing system worked. For lighter plastic cups, we were able to confirm that both systems worked. Through this experiment, it was confirmed that this system can significantly affect the friction force change of the robot hand. In the future, this technology is expected to help breakthroughs in robotic hand control. Thank you for listening my presentation.